morning. Good morning. This is our Friends of Wheeling tour for Saturday, October the 19th, 2024. And we are here at 4400 Water Street, what we'll call the Niebergall House. A couple announcements first. This afternoon is an amazing tour of a set of Victorian cottages in Bethesda, Ohio, about half an hour from here, near Barnesville. These are little cottages that are all in one little collection around a lake, and they will have open house in some of them. It's a fundraiser for their little community, $15 a person or $25 for a couple. And it's anytime between 1 and 5 this afternoon. And we have such a beautiful day, and it should be warm, and the WVU game isn't until evening, and so you have the afternoon to do things like that. Second announcement is next Wednesday, the 23rd of October, is the next meeting of the Civil War Roundtable. That will be at 6:30 in the evening at the Ohio County Public Library. It's a free meeting, and Pete Chocolus will talk about the Imboden raids during the Civil War, 1863, if I remember correctly. So, a little bit of history about this house. In the spring of 1898, Louis Niebergall purchased the property at this address and built his home near his meatpacking and ice companies. The 1902 Sanborn Insurance Map clearly shows a substantial two-story brick house at the northwest corner of 44th and Water Street, 4400 Water Street, and the Niebergall businesses within easy walking distance of here. And I have the map here to show what I've said. This, again, is the 1902 Sanborn Insurance Map. Niebergall had been born in Bellaire, Ohio in 1862. Really? He was the son of German immigrants, Daniel and Catherine Schad Niebergall. He and his wife, Lizzie, Fredericka Niedermyer, whose parents were also German immigrants, raised three daughters, Minnie, Lula, and Elizabeth, and two sons, Arthur and Frederick. Family lore says that Louis Niebergall's son Arthur could carry a 300-pound block of ice up the stairs. And Arthur is the grandfather of Peggy Niebergall. Yeah. Can you carry a 300-pound?
No, I could slide down a hill on it, maybe.
The 1900 census for Ohio County includes all 5 of these children, plus 1 servant and a boarder as residing in the home. By the time of his death at age 91 in 1953, Louis Niebergall had operated his ice company for more than 60 years. Louis and Lizzie Niebergall's daughter Minnie, the widow of Harry Ripley Hastings, became the owner of the property in 1950, and it was transferred in the fall of 1955 to their son Harry L. Hastings. Harry L. Hastings was born just 1 month before his father passed away. His older sister was Eleanor Hastings Parks. Harry Hastings, this is the 3rd generation, and his wife Doris had 4 sons, and Harry and the 4 sons continued to operate the ice business. Following the death of Harry Hastings, his son Thomas Allen Hastings acquired the property in late 2002. I could not find his death record, but he did die sometime before his mother died. And so then the ownership of the property may have been a little unknown for a while. And I believe this house has been empty for about 20 years or so. Gary D. Temple and John Forelli, as 4544 Properties is the name of their business, became the owners in late 2023, and it is currently for sale. So, Gary, if you'll join me here, Gary, as I said, is the current owner, and we will follow him through the house. Before we go, are there any things that you would like to tell the group?
You guys know more about the history than what I do. The Hastings that I worked with was Tom and his sister, and they acquired the property through a tax sale, which cleaned up any problems that they would have had very helpful. He gave me a lot of information, which I can share some of that with you. They're currently opening the garage down here where there's a massive well that they have that you can't pump dry. It's got tremendous equipment still on it, and it's just a tremendous asset right here close to the river. And one of the fellows that's working around here, elderly, lived in this top floor apartment probably 20 years or so.
Wow.
Okay. So there's 5 apartments in here, and for review, if this place was renovated, which would probably cost somebody $150,000 to renovate it, it would produce about $300,000 a year. So you find a great guy that's capable of doing a lot of the work himself and finishing it. It'll have to have some professional ability to do it. But other than that, it's sound. It'll be here when we're all done.
Yeah, that's the beauty of some of these houses that were built in that era.
This is fantastic structure. Okay, well built. Okay, well built. You can see it in the foundation when you go through the basement and everything else, and you can see the state of the foundation. And then there's, in one of these garages, I'll show you some things that they did so that if the flood came, they could continue making ice through the whole flood.
And has the house flooded?
Pardon?
Have you flooded here so close to the river?
I think it's sometime. Now, the last flood we had, it was probably 4 foot below here. So it takes, we'd have to go back to probably 2004. And there may have been some water here in 2004. So, you know, those floods are getting farther and farther away unless it's a major event.
Okay, terrific. Well, let's see the inside.
Okay.
I'm in charge of the lights. How this is gonna work.
I'll get all our flashlights with the phone.
Some of these things, you have to use your imagination. We probably hauled 5 tow trucks full of material out of here, and this place is not necessarily room clean. Okay. I think most of you will probably just want to take a quick look in and get back out. But these are efficiency apartments that they made all through the building.
Oh my goodness.
I'll go back out so some of the other people can walk in.
Okay.
Go ahead. It's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Listen, you should have seen it before we cleaned it out.
Open it up for Halloween.
It would make a haunted house. Go ahead.
Hey, Gary, if you fix it up, I'll live here.
I'm trying to relax a little bit.
I bet you do.
Nice. Hey, Gary,
But for real, though, look at us here.
Peggy Niebergall is here. Yeah, yeah. She's, yeah.
Is Gary going to tell us anything or not? He just did. We can't hear him. I meant in here, in the house. He's got the, what you call it, door that is blocked. A pocket door? Thank you. Uh-huh.
When everybody comes in, and looking at television,
Pocket door. Just need to try to get it.
I really don't know much.
Nope, okay, it's been there. And this one's painted.
Some of them are bigger than
oh, okay, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. Still filing in. So this was inhabited until 2000 something?
We think this has been empty for about 20 years. And he just said that the other gentleman with him lived here on the top floor about 20 years ago.
In its glory, it had
Okay,
stained
can we-
glass windows. I remember stained glass windows on a sign over here. I'm thinking the stained glass windows about here. I thought it was
All right, Peggy, would you repeat that, please?
Yes, in its glory, I believe there were stained glass windows. I remember I think there were two on this side, and there might have been one above here.
The north ones were on the stairway, would have been beautiful ones, and a lot of you may have seen some of those on Wheeling Island over the years also. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Can we keep going?
Yeah, well, there's not much else I can really say. But,
No, I mean, can we keep
oh, yeah.
moving?
Let's go, and we'll go up the steps now, and that'll take us to 3 of the other apartments, and then in the back, we'll go into the 5th apartment, which is actually one of the bigger ones.
Okay, now what's behind here? Is this another apartment?
I don't think I've ever been in there.
Oh,
Not a bathroom.
okay, but I mean behind here on this floor.
Yeah, but we'll get into it from the back of the building.
Okay.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. It took me a while to figure this place out. So there's just a lot here. Go
Yeah.
ahead, I'll follow you guys.
I need to follow you with this, with the camera.
Okay.
Excuse me, Jean. Ed's here. Did you see him?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is where there would have been a stained glass window?
Yeah, I'm sure that once upon a time, this is where she's talking about. If you get her to catch up, she knows more about this building, the inside of it than I do. Okay.
Okay.
Whoa, nope.
Glad I brought my stick.
Why don't you guys go ahead and go? Okay.
All right, so you're saying these were all fairly small efficiency apartments?
Yeah. See, and then, you know, if somebody renovated this and take a look from the outside here, they could put a deck on top of this because this has been used. Look at the view you've got.
And we have the walking bike trail right there, and then the river.
I've actually taken pictures of this property from the river in my boat. Okay. Now, where is the lady? The Niebergall lady?
We'll get her,
Okay.
and we'll have her walk with us
Okay.
so we can hear.
That staircase was part of the original whole house, was partitioned off later.
Yeah, I've not really been able to figure out exactly how it was. There's so many additions to turn it into the apartments that they did. But this is 36 by 60. I have a drawing. There's over 2,000 square feet of space in this house. There's the latest in vintage bathroom. They used this area here probably before they closed it.
I think she's concerned about the stairwell. I'll see if I can help her with that.
Oh, look at the view. I want to look at the river.
Oh my gosh.
I miss it. Oh, today?
She slowed down a little bit. 10 years ago, she said, "Yeah, let's go."
Oh. Yeah, I missed the boat. I missed that.
Another first time seeing that
There's deterioration, that's why that tile was on the floor. This is really a space where the roof has caused some damage. It's not, there will be some boards that need to be replaced, but it's not serious structural damage. for the most part, the slate roof is still in pretty good shape.
Wow.
But I would suggest that it go and be covered with the new materials that we're using today. Have a long time, take care of it for a long time.
Interesting wall.
And these, you know, when this was built, they would have used these fireplaces to heat this place, okay? And so there's 3 or 4 chimneys on this place, and they've got vents and stuff in them. They can't be used today, they're not safe. But,
Pipe for gas, or was it one time?
yeah, then you know, as when gas come out, then they started running gas to it, and they had gas lights.
Yeah.
I had a grandmother that lived through that whole vintage.
Sure.
She lived to be 104. She's been gone for probably 25 years, 30 years now.
Well, sure, that newfangled electricity you're not sure you want in your house. You want to keep your gas lights.
I tell you, you get your hands on one of them, they're very valuable.
Yeah.
My dad used to tell me they used to cut ice out of the river.
I believe that they did. There's some history of that.
That's what my dad told me.
Yeah. But you know, I own a piece of property at 39th Street that goes to the low water mark of the river, which puts it halfway across the river. And so there's the history of all of that stuff. Yeah, they didn't have, the river was a fantastic resource for them, but nothing like it is today. And it's good for recreation, it's good for moving materials, lots of materials cheaper. And there's a lot of traffic. Judy's been on that river many times. Okay. Beautiful. And most people have never really realized what a good resource that river is.
And they
for
said
entertainment.
that the ice cut above the Dillion's Dam was pure, but below the Dillion's Dam.
There's not a lot of it really. And you know, even for rain, we had, there's these leaks. But these things haven't been tended to for probably 8, 9, 10 years or longer. And while the roof is in need of being replaced, if you look at the gutters and things like this, there's very little water running through the overhang.
So this is a fire at some point? Looks like
I don't think so.
I think it's mold is what you
The
see.
water just caused that to come off the walls. And see, here we go, here's more of the fireplaces.
Yeah, well, that was the way you heated the homes back in the day.
Exactly.
appliances like ours do?
If you look at some of the old pictures
Well,
of
then they had
Wheeling,
small coal,
if you look at some of the old pictures of Wheeling, you notice the hills, there's no trees on them.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I mean, it was probably 20 years ago that I figured that out.
Yeah.
They were cutting all the trees as quick as they grew
Yeah.
to help get the coal fired.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why there's no trees on top of those hills.
Yep, yep.
The different layers of wallpaper.
See now, I mean, there you're seeing some of the original stuff for the house.
I'll live here.
You know, because nobody's changed that.
Yeah, this is original.
Yeah, that's it, right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, I've not been able to determine what you'd have to take out to bring it back to original. I mean, I would have to go through here for several days and think about it.
Right.
But see, all of this electric was upgraded probably in the 60s. Some of the stuff that I see, I'm old enough to remember using it when it was new. See, then at some point they went to steam heat or hot water. It may not have been steam, it was probably hot water, but it could have been either. And so this place has been through several different heating systems in its life, okay? Now that tub could very well be original.
It could be, and those can be refurbished and.
They can, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, and they're good.
yes.
And there's materials that we can clean those, prepare the surface.
Yes.
And they can be recoated.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to that.
Yeah,
Look at that tub, that's really interesting.
It's probably the original bathroom
I
up
would say
here.
it is.
Because of the tub, it looks pretty old.
to apartment, I this building, they had to bring in a lot of plumbing
They
and
had
stuff
5
like this.
apartments in this place.
Yeah, they had to bring in all the plumbing and all these rooms so they all had a kitchen area, or at least
Yeah.
a sink and
I
a
mean-
bath, and a sink and a bath.
Right, they just stuck them wherever.
And that's probably a reason why some of the ceilings are lowered to accommodate the piping and the heating ducts and the
And
like.
then you will see some furnaces, the vintage that they put those furnaces in that mount in the wall that are vertical. There's some in this building, there's some in the other building. Those would have been done in the late 50s, early 60s. That's the vintage that they are.
What's amazing, there are 5 apartments in all were in these buildings?
In this one, just
Wow.
in this one. So wait till you see the upstairs are massive.
Do you have any idea the square footage of this
Well,
house?
this building is at about 2,000 square feet, 1,000 square feet or more, 36 by 60. Okay?
That's a lot of apartment buildings in that square footage, isn't it?
That's why I say this place is capable, if it's renovated today and stayed with the 5 apartments, it's capable of producing $300,000 a year.
Well, this part of town in South Wheeling, I can imagine there must have been populated by a lot of single men or something that maybe worked in the industries around here
Well,
or something like that.
Back in the 60s, like I said, one of the fellows that's with me today lived in the upstairs apartment. And they've grown so much down here. If you go up this street from here and go north, that's all families, some of which I've known for 30, 40 years. There's a man up there that worked at Contractor Supply in Wheeling that retired 20 years ago. Him and his family's up there, and all of his kids are on the same street.
No, it's right up
So, this isn't a bad neighborhood. It's had some problems.
It was a working man's neighborhood, that's for sure, huh? Yeah.
See, this was their emergency exit here.
Yeah, the rear stairs for the
Yeah.
for the servants and so forth.
When we go down to the downstairs in the back, and we'll come in, you'll be able to see these steps.
This
Hello
is
down there.
Another apartment serviced by the stairs here, so they were just small studios.
This floor's not safe down here.
Little one-bedroom
Okay.
apartments.
I had no clue I was doing this.
Well, we appreciate hearing what you know. Yeah.
It is fun. It's really fun. Yeah, can you just imagine what that piece of glass looked like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Beautiful, yeah.
Now, how do we get to the 3rd floor?
Oh, wait a minute, let's see. Hold on. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're going up to the 3rd
We're going
floor
for the third
now,
floor.
or maybe we are.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Do they know where we went? We already got somebody up here. See how big this one is?
Well, I'm not sure, I have to look at it, but let me get up the stairs before
Windows always open? When a few
We
creatures
cleared
in.
the place out.
Oh.
It was scary.
Yeah.
It was scary. And there's not a big pigeon population down here, so we've not been bothered.
But there are bats. We probably have a few up there in your rafters.
Oh, yeah, this is the big apartment up here.
Yeah. Oh, lots of space up here. I mean, look at the size of this bathroom.
I came up the other stairs.
You are industrial still. Oh, yes, so there's, yeah, it's a little better lighting up in this, still. Is it using?
Yeah, that's another fire exit.
Yeah, this is the penthouse up here.
Okay.
I mean, this was really a penthouse place.
So are you saying with the well that was their source of water for making ice or something?
Well, they could use it. From the way Mr. Hastings explained it to me is, they didn't use it all the time.
Right.
Okay? But they were capable of using it because it was good water.
Okay, good, yeah.
And you can see the pipes down here, it was a 4-inch pipe.
Oh,
So we're talking.
So it was pumping volume.
And a three-phase pump.
Huh, crazy.
Yeah.
That's, Bigger bed.
the better staircase?
How's the vision out here?
A big step. That's the one I think I just came up with. Yeah, that's one.
Well, I wonder if in the day the servant lived up here. I mean, the ceilings are a little lower and the windows don't come quite up.
Yeah.
If they had, you said there was a servant in, or
Yes.
in the history. Yeah.
Because it probably had front and back stairs.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Because so many of those old houses had that.
Oh, yeah, right. Kind of the, going to the back to the kitchen, you know, where the service could be not seen by going up in the back.
And fix breakfast and, but listen, some of these people down here had 8 and 10 kids.
Oh, yeah.
I read there was one family that was 12 children.
Yeah.
Okay. So, probably needed a cook.
And lots of rooms.
Yeah. Living museums, huh, Gene, these houses?
Yes, indeed. A lot of history.
Well, cubby holes everywhere. Populations stand out up here.
All right.
Are your turnouts usually this good?
Oh,
This
they
one?
vary, but this is a good turnout, yeah.
I'd say this is about average.
I'm gonna see that Judy starts dragging me to these.
All right. We will add you to our mailing list, and I know you said you didn't get on email a lot, but that's how we get our notices out. So, so maybe Judy will call you when
I'll
there's
just get her to
something.
call me.
Yeah. I love the front porch.
Yeah, front porch is.
Isn't it fantastic?
I can see sitting here and,
And I mean, believe me, this is original.
yeah,
I mean, this
Yeah.
is a real deal.
You just select a pruning across the street and you have a good river view.
yes.
She doesn't want to be on camera, but she has a good info.
Then, okay, then we'll wait.
Now, I may not be 100% correct with this, but this is one of the newer buildings, and I think from the tax records, I think this was built in '64. And this elevated platform that they have in here, so that plane, and that they would never have to stop producing ice. Okay, and that's something that just needs to go, but you have to cut it up and take it out. There's, I think, 10 tons there.
Those are substantial I-beams there,
Yes. And is this where you said the well
No,
was
the
in here?
well's on down.
On down.
On down the road.
Uh-huh.
And when you have a place like this, people that you know have to put something somewhere. Yeah. So,
Just needs a little work.
This apparatus, Mr. Hastings explained to me that this is what you call a time bomb. When it dies, you just take it down and put up a new one, okay? It's not something that you repair, and this is part of the system that was used to make ice. And then, actually step inside here, we've got the gate open. All of what you're looking at there is more of the cooling towers, because when you make ice, you're removing heat from it. And then they have to put that heat outside of the building. And all of this stuff is just be salvaged for the metal that it has.
So when did the ice company quit business? Do you know that?
What Mr. Hastings did was they weren't able to compete. I think I'm saying this right. They weren't able to compete in the ice industry. So they gathered it up and garnered all of the assets that were able to be sold, and they were able to sell those assets to Home City Ice, and he now works for them. And then they were able to pay off all their bills and then just abandon the property and just walk away. Okay. And I think that's as accurate. And believe me, I really wasn't prepared for this. So,
That's right.
But I'm telling you what I've learned over the last year and a half.
Yes.
Okay.
So on the sale of this property, it includes this industrial aspect
Well,
of it too, or what
that's
does
funny.
it
We had
include?
this conversation with the realtors the other day.
Yeah.
They said, well, listen, I said, yeah, it goes like it is, but the stuff that people have here and stuff that I have here, my pontoon boat's down in one of these garages, we're going to get that. So you'd have to negotiate with each person. And I hope you're one of the buyers.
Well, I'm not in the market today, but she may fall in love with it and say, Steve, we gotta buy it.
Or a chunk of it. Or a chunk of it. Okay. And you're probably pretty handy.
I try to be.
But have you ever made ice?
Just by putting it in the home freezer.
Yeah, right.
But not on a commercial scale. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, from what I've read in the one book that I have about the city, I mean, this guy went to Chicago International Trade Show and bought the ice equipment. Okay, is it pretty much right?
Yes, early on they just cut ice out of
Sure, out of
the river
It's a
and the creeks and so forth. But then he was very innovative and
The manufacturer.
and
And
yeah,
see, when that was back in, I mean, the piece of property I have at 39th Street was, I think the deed on it was 1875. Okay. And I bought that one for back taxes too. So it just, it's crazy. Okay. I mean, this is a massive thing that's there.
Wow. I think we lost one of them very quickly. So I think we had a core group of 7. And we go after as we go so we can
We're been able to learn from cleaning out this building. This is a shop where the mechanics worked on the trucks. They had lots of ice trucks, and this was their place where they worked on that. And they also, before they put that upper level deck for all the equipment back in the 60s, we think they worked in there. I mean, there's what would have been in the 60s a high-tech oil-fired furnace where they used recycled oil and burned it for heat in the building. And then this was one of their garages. There was all kinds of truck parts in it. Now we're getting closer to where the well is.
Yeah.
The well is behind this boat, and the well, and I believe that the blue thing that we're looking at is a tank. I think it's part of a purification system. They have several different things in here that will purify that stuff. Let's see if we can get somebody that's got one of the lights. I think they left him on the front porch. You probably get the pictures. Some of the piping for this well is 4-inch pipe. This is an extremely capable well, okay? Tremendous resource. And to my understanding, it was in working order. When they sold the stuff to Home City Ice, there was no value for Home City Ice to take this stuff, so it's all been left behind. And I mean, this is, you can look at the structure. This is a new type building with trusses and everything else, and just a regular shingled roof. And It's not perfect. There's a little bit of damage back in the corner, but it's less than 5% of the structure. Now, if you come carefully around this corner and look, if you look at the glazed tile, that's a finished, that's very sanitary, can be cleaned well. This may have been part of, the one gentleman was talking about that they cut meat and stuff here, okay? And I've heard that also, but this other buildings on the other side of the property, we've only been through just about half of it now. The rooms are full of this materials, okay?
Yes, in the early days, it was meat packing and ice.
Okay. Well, this, I see, you take a place like this, somebody could come in here and put a little grocery store in here. You've got 2 buildings with 40 or 50 apartments in each one, and there's no place for them people to go and get the things they need. So right there is the only 2 parcels that we don't own, and they're 30 or 40 feet of the 200 feet on this side. So which way do you guys want to go around? We might as well go around this way, and we'll start on the other side.
Oh, I started doing this in the early '80s. Yeah, I was president of Friends for a little while.
Well, that's kind of interesting because as a kid you grew up, you saw a lot of things.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Do you guys still own the big apartment building across the country?
My uncle had. Okay. Thank God.
Well, clientele's not what it used to be.
Well, and management isn't as what it used to be when I managed it. And that's 50% of the battle.
It's a beautiful apartment building now.
Oh,
Just gorgeous.
yeah.
I think it's a Ferris.
Yep.
I think.
FF Ferris, yep.
Yep.
This gentleman here
around
needed his
1909,
foot cleaned up on there.
1910, somewhere
He
in
said to me, he says, "Can you find me a guy?" So I called a contractor I use that does masonry, and he did him a nice job for a fair price.
Uh-huh.
His nephew finished.
You gotta take care of your neighbors.
That's right. That's right. That's important.
Whenever you see a Ferris building,
This is part of the abandoned alley, and everything that we can find in legal documents that we've looked at to this point says that this belongs with the property.
it deteriorates and it
The
blows out.
Niebergalls paid taxes on this alley, being 12 foot by 200 foot for as far back as I could see on the records. We closed this up to keep the vagrants out. They were sleeping back in there and everything else.
Get them to work properly.
The interesting thing with Remax is their people have people that they're working with all over the country that are moving to this area. So that probably is being sent all over the country right now. See, here's somebody made us a deposit that we didn't really want. But anyway. Now, of course, all of the piping can be removed at any time because without making ice here, they made sure they took everything so that this place would never be competing with Home City Ice as an ice plant again. Okay.
And so, Gary, did you say that, like, if someone just wanted to buy the house, they could buy the house, or does the whole property have to go together?
No, we will sell the house. The house is currently listed and has been listed probably for almost 2 months. I know that they've had numerous people through it, so there is some interest. There's not been an offer yet, but we will sell that by itself. However, I promised Remax that initially here, let's talk about the whole facility, okay? Because if that's a problem to somebody that wants to seize the way to do this, there's an elevator in here and everything else, a hydraulic elevator. These floors are 8-inch reinforced concrete. You can put anything that you want up there. So somebody could actually use this, and you could sell the back part to someone else. The garages, I mean, people here are saying the garages have tremendous value just by themselves. And right here, the coin slots are up there. This is where you came and got your ice.
So what's the total ask? What's the total price?
I think it's 177.
For everything?
Everything, yeah.
177.
And that's about half of what the assessor has on the books, which it's obviously not an accurate assessment. Okay.
Yeah.
We hope to get that fixed. Now, talk about apartments. There were definitely apartments in this building. Okay. And when we go up to the second floor, you can see this is where the entrance was for the apartments that were upstairs. Now, I don't know if they did them as sleeping rooms or exactly how they did it. I can't tell you, but they had an office here, and we'll go in through there in a minute, and you can see the office. We cleaned it out, and I kept some of the documents and stuff that were in there because I thought that we should have them with the building.
Yes, absolutely.
And but so when we go on up, we won't go up those steps. We'll go up the inside, and you can see where the apartment rooms were, and they could have been sleeping rooms the way it looks. Okay.
This was a highly populated area of immigrants, and there may have been immigrants who came to work in the factories, not only the ice factory and the meat packing, but others who would have just needed sleeping rooms. Right.
I think you're absolutely right. This was the door that the vagrants would leave, but when we got it, we went in and took all their ladders that they had inside that they were using, and then we ultimately put a double deadbolt on here. So if you got in, you couldn't get out. It was like the Roach Motel. I think this might be one of the places where they shoved out the 300-pound blocks of ice. I can't say for sure, but there's a big refrigeration room right behind this. And then over here, this was where they parked all of their trucks. Now, of course, the city of Wheeling just says, hey, Gary, he says, just pave it. You know, spend $30,000 and pave it. They had all the electric outlets to plug the diesel trucks in so that they would start in the wintertime. All of that stuff's still there. And this is where they parked all their trucks.
And then there's the back of the house, so this would have been convenient to the original owner to have his business right here in the backyard.
Absolutely, right.
Right.
Right, back in the 1800s when they had done all of this stuff, and Wheeling was the metropolis going east or west. I mean, you know, just a tremendous resource. And then up here, I'll let you guys take a picture of this. You might not want to go to the top floor, but it's not a problem. We'll go. These things are on the top. These were vents where they would blow the heat out that they were taking out to make ice. And there's 2 of them, and those are going to ultimately have to be removed. In other words, they're going to have to be covered because nobody's going to need that much space to exchange air.
Right.
And then another resource that's here for somebody, a new buyer, is the power system that's available can run any kind of business here. So, I mean, if they needed a place that they could add on to this and use it, use the elevator and use the loading docks, they got all the power in the world here, okay? So, and you know, that's a big thing to a business. When they come in there, the utility company is going to tell them what it costs to put that up.
Some light industry in here.
Yeah, I think there's
Manufacturing.
there's so many things. When you guys get inside of here, let's go in there now, and we'll just show you what's in there.
And money.
Is anybody in the office?
Okay.
Hey, Gary,
Yeah, you guys picking
you
up
probably
bags?
use that to get along with it.
Oh, just keep it. I'll use it on the weekend. Oh, this is the office where it all happened. This took one dump truck load to empty.
But you say you were able to salvage some records.
Anything that had to do with the building or some of the things that they had done with the building over the years, yeah, I picked the stuff up. Because what happens is somebody comes in and they say, oh, well, you got to do this and you got to do that. I've got much of the history of what was done, maintenance things and stuff like that he did, things that were important. So I just strategically dissected this place, and there's just several boxes of stuff, but they were things that, and then from the calendars and stuff that was on the wall, I think their last events here was 2014, somewhere right around there.
Okay.
You guys got here before I had a chance to replace the ceiling tile.
Oh, I think you've got some other work to do here too.
You can tell that they had people working here. Look at all the time tickets that were there.
Right.
Yeah. And clipboards and stuff. I thought it was appropriate to leave a lot of that stuff hanging around. And I don't know what this room was, but there's 2 safes in there. That'll be the next thing going to the junkyard.
Ice picks.
Yeah. How appropriate.
I guess if somebody had some smokeless tobacco, they might be spitting or something.
Yeah.
They had a crippled employee, they had some crutches here for them, as long as they're short. Hey, we need those big lights. Let me get that. Let me get one of my guys. Did ask you to walk over the, I might have one guy out there asking you to walk over and get the flashlights.
I've got a flashlight.
But we're definitely gonna need that. We're definitely gonna need that. Here, you guys can come a little piece. This is all pretty safe right here. See, here's the finished walls that we talked about.
All glazed tile.
See, that's all the drug addicts surgically removed all of the wires.
Of course.
Took them over to the place and traded them for money.
Yep.
Now, if you look down this corridor here, that goes out to that dock where we were just looking at on the side of the building. That was one of the hardest places we had to secure. We secured it so well that we don't go in and out of that way.
Uh-huh.
Now, that room right behind that gentleman right there is another one that, see, this is where I believe that they shoved the ice out onto the dock. Now, see, this could have very well been one of the meat packing places too.
Right, yeah,
Because this was easy to clean up.
exactly.
So this has all the chillers in it, so they can keep this room at sub-zero. See, then this is that door that went out on the loading dock right there.
Right, yes, uh-huh.
And see, now there's a stairway to go upstairs here too. See it? Yeah. So they've got stairways, and you can see from the age of the stairways that they were added over time, and those are probably not more than 30 or 40 years old. But if this were on the ground floor, it would make an easy store. But that one garage that we've got out back, they could make that into a store without any trouble at all. And then all these folks that are living in these rental units down here
Would have a grocery store,
would
yeah,
have a grocery store.
yeah.
So that's something to put the planning commission a little bit. I've not put that on paper or any suggestions to them, but you know, who knows who's wants to open a new place for business. They found us another light. Hang on a second, I'll be back.
My cell phone.
Cell phone, oh, that's even better.
We were in the road for half an hour or so.
I told Gary I needed that freezer to keep my furs in. Oh, yeah.
They called, there's some five
space.
Yeah.
to where the office is. Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. All right. We got our lights coming now. Okay. We caught up with somebody. Let's go this way, and I can show you a couple things here.
Let's see what this says on the wall. Oh, no, it's the outside.
Now, there's another big story here.
All the sponsors. Mine was further, I got those Niebergall Ice.
Well, I'm thinking with these glazed tiles, might have been, could have been product in here too, because you need to keep them clean and wipe it down.
Right, they had, I mean, they had coolers everywhere.
Right.
And they had the ability to be able to clean this and keep it sanitary.
Right.
And we're actually in my other cousin, she just recently passed, but I can't see why, because whenever I would go in, she said, orange juice.
And Gary, back in the back, there was a room we didn't see yet, straight
Yeah,
back?
we're gonna go, as soon as you get that, we get that.
Okay.
Am I preaching now?
Are you preaching more?
Yeah, but what are you doing here now? I've forgotten my alter ego. Yeah. No, I've been defrauded and excommunicated, you know.
Now, we need light operators.
So past cut up with me.
Steve?
Yes? Oh, yeah. My past cut up with me.
She lives in,
Tell me if I'm going too fast.
You're fine.
I wanna say Green Road, but I'm not positive. One of the corners of the room,
They've got all the cooling system in here, so they could have been doing meat in here. Cooling units.
A lot of money invested in that.
I mean, this building is super strong.
Yeah.
Back out here where the loading dock was.
I wish I could think of an alternative use for it, I guess. Because it would be a bear to tear down. There's a lot of reinforced concrete around here.
There's the big freight elevator.
Yeah, about to say, yeah.
And that's hydraulic, and Mr. Hastings explained to me that that still works just fine.
Big battery, but it is,
Oh my, keep going.
If we were to go down that way, remember seeing a trailer sitting inside of that building from
Yes,
the other side?
yes,
This is the access to that area. And then, what we did here is, these wood floors and stuff in here had something to do with making the big blocks of ice. I don't know exactly how that is. We don't go in there a lot because there's actually water storage underneath of it for chillers and stuff that they used. I may not be saying that right. But that was part of the ice making process. And then above it, there's a very strong floor, and there was more of the ice making process. And there's part of the building at the southeast corner that I've not even been in that, okay?
Yes.
That's over where the well was.
Right.
A lot of tile.
Now here, this takes us to the extreme side.
Okay, all right. Gary, we are going to stop the video of this tour. We thank you very much, and good luck with the sale. And I'm going to turn the phone back over to the owner, and then I'll come back.
Okay, very good.
All right.
Do you want me to stay right here for a minute?
That would be fine.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and Joanne was behind the camera to begin with, and we will let her close out the tour. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye, Jean.